some of my friends about the things that I'm working on and some of the things that will be possible in the near future due to trust layers and Byzantine fault tolerance and cryptographic assets. You may or may not know what some or any of those terms are, but hopefully we can start spreading some good information about the underlying technology and the protocols that will be driving a trusted or trustless future. And so that's what I'm excited about and excited to talk to you about it. But first, I'm going to start answering some questions from some of my friends in a way that other friends can see the answers to that I have or my feelings on. A little bit about myself. I'm a developer for 20 plus years now. I do a lot in security and security development, security operations. I've worked for many Fortune 500, 100 companies, governments. Now I work with a company called DNA Advisors. We work on tokenizing everything. We are working now very closely with a lot of the cryptographic assets, underlying assets, and if any of those I discuss, I will let that be known. But I'm trying just to disseminate information on a protocol level to where you can understand it more fully about what you're getting involved in, and that there's a world beyond Bitcoin. Bitcoin's fantastic. It's amazing. It was the first of these Byzantine fault tolerant protocols, the underlying protocol blockchain. But ultimately, its purpose is amazing. It's a ledger that is a way to prove assets. But beyond that, we've moved into other technological advancements within cryptographic assets and cryptographic protocols. So I'm going to try to go over some of those as I build content. I'm going to answer one easy question I get asked a lot, and it's a question concerning Coinbase. A friend of mine, Ben, asked recently about his Coinbase account, whether or not it was safe and what he should buy. I will never tell you things that I think that you should buy. It's not at my place. I do not speculate. I try to figure out things that I want to use, the utilities or the functions of things that I want to use for these cryptographic assets, and that's really how I will explain it. But ultimately, Coinbase is a unique thing. Right now in the United States of America, it is a semi-regulated marketplace. It is the most common on-ramp for users into cryptographic assets. This place, though, the Coinbase really only offers 3 different tokens right now: Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Beyond that, though, there is a whole world of tokenized assets that you might be able to connect with. But finding them or being able to trade in between them is difficult, as you've probably just learned how to convert fiat into one of those 3 that's on Coinbase. So there are worlds beyond that. And Ben's question asked about a particular token and how he could find it on outside of his Coinbase network. So Coinbase is a custodial-based account that you'll hold. This is probably a safer way for most people right now to hold their assets, unless they start understanding how to secure wallets themselves, which have more power and more flexibility, and that would be highly recommended. But for a beginning user, having a custodial-based account is typically a little easier. Easier does not mean better. And ultimately, there are fees that are associated and risks that are associated by holding your assets on a custodial-based account or accounting system. So ultimately, I do recommend trying to figure out the ways how to move on to these other wallets, but do those after you understand and have a good comfortability with some security aspects around it. Once you have your money on Coinbase, if you have your money on Coinbase, getting it off to different exchanges carries fees with it. I do not use Coinbase, so I don't know what those fees are, but there are transaction fees as well as network fees for all of the underlying assets. Doing so to operate and find out the other networks that you want to find the other tokens or coins is pretty simple. There are a couple websites right now that are built that have a mapping of the main tokens or coins and what exchanges they might be on. One of the most popular websites to go browse these is coinmarketcap.com. From coinmarketcap.com, you can see some general information about the different tokens that are traded, and if you dive deeper, you can actually see where they're traded. The coin he asked specifically about was Ripple. I do not advocate using Ripple. Ripple is not a token that I own, but to answer his question, how I would find out or how he should find out where to exchange for Ripple, on CoinMarketCap, if you open it, you're able to see that there is a markets tab. Under the markets tab itself, if you go down, and it will actually reference the source of the different markets and what pairs, what trading pairs you can actually exchange between. So for him in particular, he might want to go from US dollars to Ripple, and you might be able to do that through Bitfinex. If you're going through from BTC, Poloniex is a simple exchange that you'd be able to do that with, and exchanging from Bitcoin to this point has been the most common transfer from one crypto into another. That's during the next year, we expect many other different fiat on-ramps from other currencies. But for now, the most typical pair for an exchange will be Bitcoin or Ethereum to the other underlying assets. So do your own research, try to figure out how to get onto the other exchanges. This is a great place to see where those other exchanges are. If you're looking for information about Ripple, make sure you visit qualified and quality sites with information, looking at Wikipedia, looking at, say, Reddit and the Reddit subreddits might have some information for you to find out more information about Ripple itself. But always do your own research. These underlying assets, some of them will be securities, some of them will be utilities, some of them will be just different records for the things that we're going to hold. Anything that has a record of trust or a needed record of trust will eventually move to become a securitized or cryptographic asset. And that's what's really exciting about all of this. Really, the markets are just getting moving, and people are really just starting to understand what these things are. It's holding a record, not just holding a record of currency, but ultimately there's many, many, many uses for what these cryptographic digital assets will record for us and safely and be able to be set in a trusted system for us to be able to use. And that's what's exciting. And Ben, I hope that answered your question. If anyone else has any other questions, leave them below. I'm going to try to do this a couple times a week and get some better information out. Everyone, enjoy your day. I hope to see you guys soon.